Welcome to this look at a new mod map on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Canada. I'm in Wymark. This is Swift Current, Saskatchewan. This is an extension, technically, of the Monette Farms map. So this is Wymark, Canada, by Mapper's Paradise, 502.36 megabytes download. And if you've just loaded into this map, what was with that intro bit? That frightened the life out of me, that voiceover bit just before we loaded in. Whew. Anyway, so this is an extension of Monette Farms, and when I say an extension, this is where Monette Farms started, in Swift Current Family Farm, and it started right here and then started to expand. This is now pretty much the seed operation for Monette Farms, and Monette Farms is a massive company sprawling across Canada and parts of the US now as well, and a lot of the seed production is done here because of the soil quality, because of the low pests, insects, that kind of stuff. They produce some of the best durum wheat. Talking of that, we have got some additional crop types thrown in, which we're going to talk about in a moment. There are no required mods to download. There are some custom crops. Contracts are available. It's a big map. It's one of those ones, it's like big fields, big spaces. You look at the map and think, well, it's not too bad. I mean, it's up there. On New Farmer, we start with the main farm area, which is just here, and these three fields. Field prices aren't too bad. When you consider the size of the fields, you know, it's not too bad at all. Just across the way, we've got a secondary farm, which we can purchase. I have already taken the liberty of putting money in. I'm on New Farmer, so I started with 100,000, but I have put some money in. So if you're looking top right and thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on? And what is cool, if you go onto the Monette Farms website and have a look, and you go through their history and about them and go to locations, when you go onto the seed locations, this is exactly how it is in real life. I mean, and when the camera sort of, you look round, that is it's incredible. Now, some more information if you're interested. I don't know if you're interested or not. Wymark, apparently named after William Wymark Jacobs, an Englishman and a writer who wrote short stories, particularly famous for one called The Monkey's Paw, which was written in 1902. It's a horror story. Go and look it up. It's actually it's quite an interesting story. It's been kind of revamped and redone over the years. Where we are at the moment in Wymark has a population as of the 2021 census of 148 people. That's all. In 57 residences, I think it worked out at. And Swift Current, it's part of the Swift Current Municipality number 137. There you go. Throw in some extra information. So the start farm where we are now. Slot count, we'll talk about that now as well. 1,421 on New Farmer. On Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, that comes down to 1,187. You don't start with any of the buildings on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, but you do still start with all the machinery and equipment. So what I then did was I removed all the equipment and machinery. I also bought the farm across the way, removed all the buildings over there to see if I could get the slot count down, which I did. So from 1,421 down to 1,187 down to 870. So I got it much, much lower. Now if you want to run it as Monette Farms Seeds, Wymark, you can leave it as it is. We've got a lot of silos and stuff. A lot of them are decorative. I've just realised I've left the government subsidy signs in. I'll remove those before we start. We do also have a treasure hunt to take part in. A cache hunt. Solve the 6 clues in order to find where the stolen item was hidden. The first clue, where Canada's favourite sport is played in Wymark. So, just not a spoiler, but a kind of teaser. That's not going to help you at all, but that's what you're looking for. When you followed all the clues and you've done everything, that's what you're looking for. I'm going to remove those government subsidy signs, and then we're going to head round the main farm. Then we're going to head around the map. Now, I'm going to say one thing. The map's going to get an update, because when we go around, there's some plots to purchase. We're adding some extra. Oh, see, there's another farm over here to add in some extra, which is weird. It's interesting. You can buy the main town area here. We've already got some icons and stuff shown, but when you buy it, we get an extra one pops up here. The building is there, but by doing that, you then own it. But we've got an outflyer. Look, just out there. You see that? I thought, well, maybe that's where the train track goes to. There is a railway. You can rent the train. The railway runs round and through, and that goes to Swift Current. And I thought, well, maybe it's just the Swift Current icon that should have been down there. It's not. That's the grain mill icon. If we go down to here and go to grain mill, if I put tag place, and then we go back to there, you'll see that's flashing now. And if we look over there, yeah. So I found the building. I thought, oh, this is the grain mill, but there's nothing showing, and I think that's what it is. So I've got a feeling it will get an update. So bear with me a second while I remove the subsidy signs. And oh, actually, you know what? Don't go anywhere. Don't go and make a cup of tea. Just let's go through the required mods and stuff. If we go into build mode and we go to sheds, so added in, we've got a load of sheds. Like, so there's no required mods, so there's nothing like that to look at. We go to silos, we have got these. So we start on here. That's a 6 million litre silo for 200,000. For 300,000, a 10 million litre silo, but that's a seed silo. That's a grain silo, that's a seed silo. And it does various different seeds. And then that one is a 90 million litre silo. And because of the size of the operation here, that's not beyond real. That's the size of the operation they are running. For 3 million you can get a 90 million litre silo. Now what I will say is these are not multi-fruit silos. The 2 grain silos will hold your main grain types and the additional ones put in on the map. The seed silo will do the seed types, and you'll see what I mean about seed types in just a moment. If we go to container, we've got some extra containers put in for fertilizer, for lime, and for liquid tanks. That's herbicide and liquid fertilizer. They've got larger capacities at 300,000 litres, and the fuel tanks are 50,000. If you're running a big operation with a lot of machinery, you'll need more equipment and machinery capacity. If we go to our tools, we've got a workshop added in. And then I think under, was it farmhouses? I think we had something under farmhouses as well. Under farmhouses, we've got 3 different farmhouses. We start with these 2 at the main farm, and then that one across the way, and there's another farm with one of those on. If we go to production and factories, we've got the seed production here at the main farm. That's been added in. You can see the extra ones. It all produces just seed, although it does say the different names of the seeds. It is seed that can be used generally across the board. And then the only other thing added in was under animals, and we've got a cow barn just there. No other animal ones, all the others are standard, but there's a cow barn there for 300 cows, which we will get to later on. If we come out of there, we go to mods and DLCs, we've got this one added in. So there's a liquids tanker thrown in, which rather than be, what's that, a 7,000 or normally? It's a 15,000 litre capacity, so that's been tweaked to give you some extra liquid capacity. So I think we're ready to go now. Sorry, I keep looking at my notes, remembering other bits needed to talk about and add in. The additional crop types. If we go down to our seeders here, you'll see at the bottom some extra options put in there. We've got durum wheat, we've got peas, and we've got lentils. They are all put into the ground using seeders. They are all taken out of the ground using regular headers. So they can either be used as a crop to sell, or they can then be used for making seed, and the seed would then be distributed out amongst all the other Monette Farms locations. I think they've got 2 or 3 different seed locations that produce seed for the various different parts of the company. But anyway, that's the production for that. So let's get on to farmhouses. We've got 2 here at the start of farm. We've got a pickup just here, which we are going to use momentarily. I have to say, I do like this house. It's very cool. That goes straight to the back. That takes us back into the garage. Up into here. Very nice indeed. Takes us into the bathroom. 2 like that. It's very cool. And then this one is where we get our sleep and wardrobe trigger. Just here. For changing. Let's close that. Let's go out the back. Secondary farmhouse. Should you have a guest house? If you have guests over to stay, you've got workers temporarily, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they've got other accommodation. We do have lighting. We had lighting in the other one as well, to be fair. That goes out to the back. We've got various different doors that open to various different rooms. Sleep trigger this side. Wardrobe trigger this side. That is the secondary farmhouse. Just close this, right? Lights off. There we go. So, across the way, we've got quite a few sheds and buildings. There's plenty of shed and building space for storing whatever it is you want to store, because there'll be loads of stuff, I would imagine. If we come across the way here, it says on there, lime storage, 300,000 litres, can be refilled from the rear and then taken out from the front. Again, more building space just here. Now these here, these ones up the side there, they are all part of, like I say, if you go onto the website and have a look, that's what it actually looks like. It looks exactly like that, with that many seed bins, grain silos. It's exactly what it looks like. But some of these, if we go to demolish, those are decorative. I click on that, sell decorative silos, sell decorative silos. Now what I didn't show you, actually I did take a picture I think, when I said about getting the slot count down to 870, when you come into a farm manager and start from scratch, and you've got no buildings or anything like that, the farm will look like this. So, as I say, more storage space. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab the pickup, because if I walk around this, it's going to take me ages to get around the farm. It's a big expanse. There's plenty of room for activities, and if you want to add in more of anything, I mean, there's not unlimited amounts of space, but there's, you know, there's plenty of room. It's quite the contrast to, just thinking of, on Moss Valley, when I did the Moss Valley tour the other day, and you've got that very British tight lanes, small fields, hedgerows, fences. This couldn't be more opposite. So here we get a liquid tank for our herbicide or liquid fertilizer. Again, 300,000 litres, put our tank just there. We open this one up. We have got some large machinery tucked away in here. We've got a big roller, we've got a big cultivator, we've got a seeder, and we've got a planter in here. Massive door opens at the other end, double door this side. The first of our silos, and it's this one here, this is the seed silo, 10 million litre, putting in this side. Out the other side is done with an auger. I think it was an auger the other side, wasn't it? There we go. We do have an auger. So that's the seed silo. And when you bring something around the other side, it will give you the option to take out the separate seeds. And as far as I'm aware, it's just standard seed. And there's our fuel tank, 50,000 litres, to be refilled by another company or by yourself, whoever it is you want your storyline to do. That's up to you. Then we come to the seed factory portion of the tour, which is just here. Open up this door and going through the side door as well if we want to. Turn on our shed lights, and this is where the magic happens. So click on our management. So you've got wheat, durum wheat, barley, peas and lentils. All of those can be brought in. We've got herbicide, liquid fertilizer as well, so different recipes, but they all require herbicide and liquid fertilizer, and then that will produce your outgoing seeds. And when you go around to take these out of there, it will give you the option to remove these separate seeds. But as far as I can tell, if you look at each of the recipes, it's just showing the seed icon. So as far as I'm aware, it's just seed. I don't think it's going to be, it doesn't palletize them, that's the thing, because this is where you take out of that seed factory, just here again with an auger. So you're just going to get a seed come out, not, you know. I will interrupt MrSealyp at this juncture to talk about the seed, because I thought, as I was saying it, you know what, I should probably check it. So I'm running the seed production. I've already shown you, or I might be about to, or I might have just, regardless of. So the seed production, if we go into our menu here, you will see we can do seeds, wheat, we can do durum seed, we can do barley seed, pea seed and lentil seed. Now I assumed, looking at the pictures, they would all just come out as a generic seed. The top one, which is the seed, wheat, that is the generic seed. Durum seed, barley seed, pea seed and lentil seed, when you take them out of this, I brought a trailer over, I went underneath here, I could take them out individually, one at a time, but I couldn't mix them, which then made me think, well, hang on a minute, so they're not a generic seed, they are all separate seeds. So I couldn't just say, well, you know what, I'll just bring it all out, and yes, it says pea seed, but it is seed, so they wouldn't mix. So when I took them over, I then put them into the seed silo and stored them in the seed silo, and they store in the seed silo separately. If we come over to the seed silo, it should show bottom right. Now the one that's missing from there is the wheat one, which is the standard seed, and the reason for that being, I thought, right, next step then, let's go and grab a seeder. If I grab the seeder, will it allow me to just put any of them in, or does it have to be specific? And what I found was the only one it would allow me to put into the seeder was the standard seed, the wheat seed. It was the only thing I could put into the seeder. None of the others would come up as an option. Where it said start filling, I was pressing L3, nothing else would come up as an option to put into the seeder. So what I'm extrapolating from that is, because this facility makes seed, we can make our own seed and we can put it in our seeder, and all we've got to do then from here, I can change my seed type and I can go on to our lentils, our beans and our durum wheat. The extra seed types are to sell. They're not to be used, as far as I can make out. And the other way I can tell that is when I went into here, if we look at our seeds, standard seed, and the Swift current price for standard seed is 502. Fair enough. If I go down to the bottom and we go to the other seed types, look at the prices of the other seeds. At Swift current, 3 times the price of standard seed for durum seed. Barley seed, not quite as much. Pea seed, at Swift current, 4 times the standard seed price, and lentils the same. Farmers market still pretty good price. As far as I can tell, we can produce these other seed types, but they are for selling. That's the point of this facility. They're producing seed that can be sent off elsewhere for other people to use, because I could only get the regular seed to go into the seeder. I hope that helps with regard to the seed situation. Whilst yes, it is producing separate seeds, those separate seeds can only be put into a trailer separately. They can be stored separately and they can be sold separately, but only the wheat seed can be used in the seeders. Back to MrSealyp. Fertiliser tanks with the trailer just there. Again, 300,000 litres. Refilling done there, taking out done where the trailer is. We come across the way, we come to the workshop. Now this is workshop and offices. There's a whole load going on in here. I'm not going to go through every single office, but we've got the side door there. Turn around shed lights, he says. There we go, some are L3, some are circle. So, large John Deere harvester with corn header and regular header. Nice old 9RX with a massive Elmer's Hallmaster on the back of it. This is the workshop as well for the repairs of the fleet. And again, when you look at the website and you look at the pictures, the amount of equipment and machinery is just staggering how much stuff is here. You can go upstairs, there's a couple of offices upstairs as well. And if we go in through here, we've got various different offices, and we've got the reception sort of area around the front here for people visiting, I guess for meetings, seed reps, I don't know, whatever it is you might be doing. Just in there, so that's the main workshop and offices. Back in the pickup. Across the way, and we come to the big storage, the big one. This is the 90 million litre grain storage. Let's go up in the air so we can get an idea of the scale. I mean, I can't get the camera there. It's just not possible to get the angle right, but what a facility, absolutely staggering. So, putting into the silo is done here over the pit, and the augers run out the bottom, take it in up to the leg, and then the leg will send it off to all the various different bins, whichever ones they're going to be stored in. Can you imagine when you see the Millennial Farmer grain bin set up and the leg and all the various different options you've got in there? Can you imagine running something like this? Staggering. And then taking out of the silo is done from here. Again, some of our starting equipment just there. I think that was that bit. Yep. Hang on, let me just check the map. That's the grain leg starting up by the sound of it. Oh yeah, grain silo. And it can all be removed, as I said, you saw from the sort of that aerial picture. You might decide you want to keep the main silos, or you might decide you don't want to use those silos. You might want to use multi-fruits, or leave them as they are and add a multi-fruit silo in. It's entirely up to you. That's the beauty. Once you get on the map, you can do whatever you want to do. The main entrance, I mean, look at the expanse as well. It's not like you're short of space. That was nothing on the sign. I thought that would have the Monette Farms logo on it. Maybe it's supposed to. Possibly, don't know. So from here we're going to go across the way. So from the main farm across the way we have got plot 24. Plot 24 is 98,298 to do that, that and that. And you can see some more silos. Now we've got two of the silos, the seed and the larger one just over there. This side has got the smaller of the grain silos, the 6 million litre. And this has got the we've got plenty of building and storage space, as you can see just here. And this has got the bigger farmhouse. I say the bigger farmhouse, you can actually go around more of it. We can use the garage. And we've got a door at the back to go out to the garden. Although it is the fancier of the houses, the sleep trigger is around the back. We can't actually go into this building. Very nice indeed, though. And back round towards the yard. There's no workshop this side. The main workshop is the other side. And again, all these buildings can be removed. Liquid fertiliser and herbicide, 300,000 litres. Fertiliser, 300,000 litres. 6 million litre grain silo. This one doesn't have an auger with it though. So we can put in, but taking out will require an auger. And again, that's just standard crop types. But it will take those additional ones that I was saying, you know, the additional Durham wheat peas, lentils, all that stuff. And then we've got our lime silos just over here. Right. Let's head east. Cross over the river that runs up the map. And you can just see a little blue disc off to the left. Just as we cross over here, there is a water point. But as always, so when I do map tours, there are plenty of modded water points, wells, taps, you know, you name it, hoses. But there is a water source here. Fast flowing river. And we can come and collect water from here if we wish. Straight out ahead of us, we've got the sawmill, standard sawmill, just there. Actually, that was something I was going to say. There wasn't a periphery, was there? I don't think there was a periphery on the map. No, there wasn't. But there's, I think, pretty much all the plots can be purchased. The one I was going to show you, because we're going to need it for later on anyway, just here, plot 37 takes in all that as well. So all of that for 270,000, massive field. If we buy that, we get a little farm here as well. So what we'll do is we'll buy that now, because we'll get to that later on. That's there. And then the main town area just here. So if you look at the moment, we've got the bakery. And if we go down to our owned items, we've got seed production showing. Sorry, let's come back off there. So if we purchase the town now for 35,000, that's all. We can buy an entire town. Do that, and that icon comes up for the dairy. If we go down to here now, the dairy is now showing. So butter, cheese and chocolate. So by buying the town, we get the sort of the dairies thrown in. Bonus. Head down a little way, we come to the vehicle shop. It's a big old proposition. And it's John Deere. I have to say, I mean, I think I would love to live in America. I've said that many times before. I was watching Calder Cornside the other day, and they'd gone into town to the local Menards to pick up some stuff. And as they were driving out, there was just a big farm machinery store. They didn't mention it. The equipment out across the parking lot, across the grass. I would have had a field day. I would have spent a day there just walking around, filming, looking at the vehicle. I suppose to them it's just normal, it's what they do, but it's just the scale of this sort of thing is staggering. So this is the vehicle shop, vehicle store. Workshop dealer. Very nice indeed. Service point just here. And then round the back we have got some offices. Won't go into all of them. We have got some office space around there. And if we come through this way, I mean, you probably would normally go this way. Out into the workshop area itself. Turn on the shed light. So workshop trigger is just here. When your vehicles spawn, they spawn in here, in the workshop. I will show you. Let's pick something. Let's pick a John Deere. Why not? There we go. How cool's that? Not outside in a car park or something. In the building. And then off we go and take them out. So yeah. 4-door wide at the front, 2-door at the back. Drive through, machinery workshop and spawn point. This is... Actually, that's a very good point. Did I write it on my notes? I didn't write it on my notes. Let's do it now. This is what I normally do when I'm doing all my testing and prep and stuff like that. We're all the way down here. If I click on that and press reset... Oh no, I did! I've just made a terrible mistake. I've just looked... As I did that, I looked at my notes and went, ah, no! The reset point is not here at the vehicle shop. The reset point is at the main farm. Out on the grass, by the signs and the flags, that is the reset point. So if you need to reset any equipment and machinery for any reason at all, it doesn't reset at the store, it resets back to the farm. Good piece of information to know. I'm glad I got this. Let's use this. It's a little bit slower, but it doesn't matter. That's all good. Let's show willing. So from here then, isn't it that perfect moment was as I was about to press the button, my brain went, oh, hang on a minute. Too late. So, we get to take in more of the scenery. It's quite flat, isn't it? The next point we're going to come to, fairly slowly, actually I'm going to cut across here I think, is the railroad transfer silo, storage silo. Take it as a kind of cooperative. You can store crops in it, but it's a transfer silo over to the train. If you've got a contract that requires you to sell to Swift Current, you'll need to transfer over to the train here. Taking out of the silo is done here. Putting into the silo is done up the ramps in there. Your rent train point is here, and the transfer is done here, in or out of the silo, by train or to the train. Now, weirdly, and I don't know why, the train actually comes from the bottom up that way and goes off to Swift Current. Lovely. When I clicked on rent train, it was 4.5 kilometres away. It was off the map. It was off the map. Rather than come in that way, it reversed for some reason. It reversed all the way down to here. It's a standard train. There's nothing over and above, nothing unusual or abnormal about it. And this silo will take all of the regular crop types that a railroad silo will take, normally including seed, potatoes, sugar beet. It's not a full multi-fruit silo, but it will take the additional crop types as well, and I think it will take the seed types too. So this is your railroad silo, storage silo, transfer silo, however you want to refer to it. Just there. Heading up towards the town itself. I should have got something faster. I do apologise. It's alright. I've done entire map tours on tractors like this. There's not much more left, don't worry, it's all good. We cross over the railroad just here. Next coming up on our left is the animal dealer. I said about the train being a fairly standard one, because on Edgewater, Saskatchewan, the train was designed, had the Canadian flag and all sorts of stuff on it, and you know. So, animal dealer point just here, and then we have got a bale sell point, which is just round the back there, and then the plot of land we purchased, which is just across the way here. Watch out for traffic, which I don't normally do. Open the gate. Farmhouse, just here, sleep trigger. Again, this is the same as the one at the main farm. Can't go into the building, but the sleep trigger is around the back. Just there. We've got some shed and storage space, and then we've got cows here. The only livestock on the map, but like I said, there is so much space. If you want to add livestock on, you can. It depends if you want to run it true to life or just go wild and farm. It's entirely up to you. 300 cows. It was 300, wasn't it? 300 cows. Just here. This, I think, is an independent farm of the Monette Farms group. They do have cattle establishments. So that was this plot. We came up this road here. Animal dealer and bale sell. So this was this one, plot 37. So what we're going to do now is go across. Gas station, taking the last few points as we go up the map. So let's go this way. Past the bale sell point. Just off to the left, we've got the... Say, just off to the left. Population, 148. Gas station, just here. Lovely little old gas station. Just there. Then we come up, and the dairy that we got when we purchased the town, that's the first point we're going to come to. Was it standard? I'm going to double check, I can't remember. Oh, actually, we can check from the menu, can't we? It was wasn't it? Because I showed you the production, wasn't it? Butter, cheese, chocolate. Yeah, there was nothing over and above. No soy drinks or anything like that. So the dairy, just there. Bakery, just next door. Now, I did write a note on this saying buy. I made my notes late last night, so I can't remember why. Oh, pasta as well. So bread, cake and pasta can be made here by bringing the Durham flour. Now, that was why it suddenly dawned on me there was an issue. Because when I did all of this, then I went up the road and I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, without a grain mill, we can't make Durham flour. So that's why it's going to need an update. Because we can't make pasta without Durham flour, we can't make Durham flour without the grain mill, and the grain mill seems to be off the map. That was what it was. So there we go, there's the bakery. Noisy kids at school. I don't know if I missed that or not. So left, just over there, we've got the farmer's market sell point. And then to the right here, this is one of those ones as well. It's that thing that it's a niggly thing, but it made me smile because as soon as I did it, I went, "Oh, this is feeding grain south." And then my brain suddenly said, "Well, I suppose technically it's south of somewhere, isn't it? You know, it's not south on the map. We're up here. Where are we here? It's feeding grain north-east, but it is south of somewhere because if you carry on going north, it's south of somewhere. So this is feeding grain south. Sell point. I know. I do it all the time." It's pernickety and it's niggly. It's not so bad like that because it's that thing of, you know, it's when you're on a map and you've got a silo on the east and west and they're reversed. I never understand that, but anyway, it's a minor thing. It really is. I'm not having a pop at Mapper's Paradise at all. It's that sort of thing that made me smile. It was that kind of, you know. So this is your, well, grain mill. And like I say, none of the icons or anything are showing. Actually, there's not even anything on the... There's no signs. There's nothing up there at all. Which is curious, isn't it? I didn't even notice. I realised there were no icons. And then when I looked at the map and I thought, oh, okay. But it's not actually even showing... It's not saying grain mill, H&H or anything. Any of the, you know... Wymark, Swift Current, nothing. A curiosity, you might say. Then we come up here to the biogas plant. Just here. 475,000. Standard biogas plant with standard productions in. Outgoing product of digestate. If we go back to the map, we're back up the top. Train goes off to Swift Current. And that is the map. That is Wymark, Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Canada. That's by Mapper's Paradise. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching.